Attack on Pearl Harbor was a pivotal moment in world history, marking a significant turning point in World War II. It took place on 7/12/1941, when the Imperial Japanese Navy Air Service launched a surprise military strike against the United States naval base at Pearl Harbor, Hawaii. This attack led directly to the United States' entry into World War II, fundamentally altering the course of the conflict and the future of international relations. Background to the attack. Geopolitical context. In the 1930s, Japan was rapidly expanding its empire in East Asia and the Pacific. Driven by a need for natural resources and a desire to establish itself as a dominant regional power, Japan invaded China in 1937 and subsequently occupied parts of Southeast Asia. The United States, concerned about Japanese aggression and its threat to American interests in the Pacific, imposed economic sanctions and trade embargoes on Japan, including critical supplies of oil, steel, and other materials. Rising tensions. The sanctions severely strained Japan's economy and military capabilities, leading to heightened tensions between the two nations. Negotiations were ongoing throughout 1941 to resolve these issues, but neither side was willing to make the necessary concessions. Japan, perceiving a diplomatic deadlock and anticipating that further negotiations would not yield favorable results, began planning a preemptive strike against the United States to eliminate its Pacific Fleet as a threat to Japanese expansion. Planning the attack. Strategic objectives. The primary objective of the Japanese attack on Pearl Harbor was to neutralize the U.S. Pacific Fleet, thereby preventing American interference in Japan's plans to conquer Southeast Asia. By crippling the fleet, Japan hoped to buy time to fortify its gains and establish a defensible perimeter stretching across the Pacific. Operational planning. The attack was meticulously planned by Admiral Isoroku Yamamoto, Commander-in-Chief of the Japanese Combined Fleet. Yamamoto believed that a swift and decisive strike would demoralize the United States and force it to negotiate for peace on Japan's terms. The operation, codenamed Operation Z, involved detailed reconnaissance, extensive training, and careful coordination among various units of the Japanese Navy. The attack force comprised 6 aircraft carriers, Akagi, Kaga, Soryu, Hiryu, Shokaku, and Zuikiku, carrying over 350 aircraft, including bombers, torpedo planes, and fighters. This strike force, known as the Kido Butai, set sail from Japan in late November 1941 under strict radio silence to avoid detection. The attack. Execution. On the morning of December 7, 1941, the Japanese strike force launched its attack in 2 waves. The first wave, consisting of 183 aircraft, began its assault at 7:48 a.m. local time. This wave targeted battleships and airfields to maximize surprise and destruction. The second wave, comprising 170 aircraft, followed an hour later, focusing on other ships and shipyard facilities. Targets and impact. The attack focused on Battleship Row, where 8 American battleships were moored. The Japanese managed to hit all 8 battleships, sinking 4, USS Arizona, USS Oklahoma, USS West Virginia, and USS California, and damaging the others. The USS Arizona suffered a catastrophic explosion after a bomb detonated its forward magazine, leading to the deaths of 1,177 crewmen. In addition to the battleships, the Japanese also targeted cruisers, destroyers, and other vessels. They destroyed or damaged nearly 20 ships and over 300 aircraft. The attack also inflicted significant damage on the naval base's infrastructure, including fuel storage tanks, shipyards, and airfields. In total, over 2,400 Americans were killed, and more than 1,000 were wounded. Immediate aftermath. American reaction. The attack on Pearl Harbor shocked the American public and government. President Franklin D. Roosevelt addressed the nation on December 8, delivering his famous Day of Infamy speech, in which he declared December 7, 1941, as a date which will live in infamy. He called for a formal declaration of war against Japan, which Congress swiftly approved with only one dissenting vote. Japanese perspective. From the Japanese perspective, the attack was initially considered a success. It had achieved its primary objective of crippling the U.S. Pacific Fleet, giving Japan a strategic advantage in the early months of the war. However, the Japanese had failed to destroy key American assets, including aircraft carriers, which were not present at Pearl Harbor during the attack. Additionally, critical shore facilities, such as fuel depots and repair yards, remained largely intact, enabling the U.S. Navy to recover more quickly than anticipated. Long-term consequences. United States entry into World War II. The attack on Pearl Harbor galvanized American public opinion and unified the nation in its resolve to defeat the Axis powers. The United States declared war on Japan on December 8, 1941, and shortly thereafter, Germany and Italy declared war on the United States, bringing America fully into World War II. The industrial and military mobilization that followed transformed the United States into a global superpower and played a crucial role in the eventual defeat of the Axis. Strategic shifts. The attack led to significant strategic shifts in the Pacific theater. The U.S. Navy adopted a strategy focused on carrier warfare, recognizing the vulnerability of battleships to air attacks. The development and deployment of aircraft carriers became a central element of American naval strategy, exemplified by pivotal battles such as the Battle of Midway in June 1942, where American forces decisively defeated the Japanese fleet. Pearl Harbor as a symbol. Pearl Harbor became a symbol of American resilience and determination. The slogan, "Remember Pearl Harbor," rallied the nation and served as a constant reminder of the need to remain vigilant and prepared against future threats. The site of the attack was later designated as a National Historic Landmark, and the USS Arizona Memorial was established to honor those who lost their lives. Analysis and interpretation. Intelligence failures. The attack on Pearl Harbor is often studied as a case of significant intelligence and communication failures. Despite having broken Japanese codes and receiving numerous warnings of a potential attack, American military and intelligence agencies failed to piece together the information in time to prevent or mitigate the attack. Factors contributing to this failure included bureaucratic inertia, inter-service rivalries, and an underestimation of Japanese capabilities and intentions. Tactical and strategic lessons. The attack demonstrated the effectiveness of aircraft carriers and air power in modern naval warfare. It underscored the obsolescence of battleships as the primary capital ships of the Navy and highlighted the importance of intelligence, reconnaissance, and early warning systems. These lessons were quickly absorbed and applied by both the United States and its allies, shaping naval strategies for the remainder of the war and beyond. Moral and ethical considerations. The surprise attack on Pearl Harbor also raised important moral and ethical questions about the nature of warfare. The deliberate targeting of military personnel and facilities in a peacetime surprise attack was widely condemned as an act of treachery and aggression. This perception influenced post-war attitudes toward Japan and contributed to the harsh terms of Japan's eventual surrender and occupation. Pearl Harbor in historical memory. Commemoration. Pearl Harbor is commemorated annually in the United States, with ceremonies held at the Pearl Harbor National Memorial in Hawaii. These events honor the memory of those who perished and serve as a reminder of the sacrifices made during World War II. The site attracts millions of visitors each year, fostering a deeper understanding of the historical significance of the attack. Cultural impact. The attack on Pearl Harbor has been depicted in numerous films, books, and other forms of media, contributing to its lasting impact on American culture. Movies such as Tora, and Pearl Harbor have dramatized the events, while documentaries and historical studies have provided more nuanced and detailed accounts. These portrayals help keep the memory of Pearl Harbor alive and accessible to new generations. Legacy. The legacy of Pearl Harbor extends beyond its immediate historical context. It serves as a powerful reminder of the unpredictable nature of international relations and the potential consequences of complacency and unpreparedness. The attack also highlights the importance of strategic foresight, intelligence, and the ability to adapt to new forms of warfare. Conclusion. The attack on Pearl Harbor was a watershed moment in 20th century history, triggering the United States' entry into World War II and reshaping the global geopolitical landscape. The event remains a poignant symbol of American resilience and a catalyst for significant military, strategic, and cultural changes. As we reflect on Pearl Harbor, we are reminded of the profound impact of historical events on the present and future, and the enduring importance of vigilance, preparedness, and the pursuit of peace.